Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in wa ba'd. So we stopped on page 54. I think we finished up all those things that the people are wasting their time on, right? All right, there are a lot more activities in these, but these are the main ones that I have seen the people caught up in since I've been back in America. I will explain each one point by point, inshallah. First, people spend too much time on social media. That's just number one. Too much time means anything more than 30 minutes. It takes you about 30 minutes to see what is going on and read messages from people. And we're talking about the average person. We're not talking about okay, you're an imam in a masjid. You might be getting messages and questions from, a lot of people that might take longer than 30 minutes. But, just the average person. How much time do you really need?
15.
Yeah,
actually, not 10.
Let's just say 30. Let's say 30 a day. Check all your messages. Write the important people back that you need to write back. And that's it. So it takes you about 30 minutes to see what is going on and read messages from people that are actually important to you. Most people spend hours chatting with people on social media whom they do not even know. In fact, they will probably never meet those people face to face, and they have no intentions to. At the same time, the same person does not even know his neighbors. This is a travesty. So the people that have rights over us, we ignore. And then some random person that lives thousands of miles away from us, we want to give all our attention to. And this is what social media has done to us. So our deen suffers because knowing our neighbors and being righteous and kind to our neighbors is a part of our deen. Being righteous and kind to our parents and giving them attention is also a part of our deen. And most of these kids that spend all this time on social media, what is their relationship with their parents? It's estranged, right? It's like they're like strangers living in the house. They probably they nod at each other, probably walking by each other, but there's no conversation. There's no talking. There's nothing, So, but they give all their attention to some strangers, some random people online. And they don't even know if this person is a male, a female, because how do you even know what this person is unless you actually, and even the talking now, because they got so much technology now that they can make your voice, you can talk and sound like a girl, you can sound, what I'm saying? You could change your voice, you don't even know who you're talking to. But you have all these people in front of you that have rights over you. And then you get married couples. The mother wants to sit online. The wife, not taking care of anything, just sitting online all the time. Kids running around breaking stuff, The father, I don't know, and she's not giving the rights to the husband. And the husband, I don't think most of these, husbands, I don't think they get online too much, do they?
They do.
Facebook.
Facebook is crazy. Yes, they do.
See, my generation, you don't see it too much. But yeah, the younger generation, yeah. But my generation, most of the people that I went to school with, I can't find them because they don't have social media. They don't use it. Their wives use it for them. So their wives keep in contact with everybody. They don't do it. So, so the man sitting on social media too, not teaching his children, not spending time with his children, not spending time with his wife, not spending time with his family. Everybody's just lost. And all the people that have rights over you, you're not giving them their rights. That's crazy. But you give all this attention to some random people online. It's unbelievable. All right, but that's the sickness of our society. Second, I believe this one is self-explanatory. The second one is hanging out with friends. But I don't think this is. I think people spend more. I think social media is more of a problem nowadays than hanging out with friends. I say hanging out with friends because this is the biggest problem overseas. Because a lot of us, especially in Yemen, we didn't have internet in the house. I never had internet in my house the whole time. 15 years in Yemen, I never had internet in the house. Never. So it's just we had to go out to go use the internet. So we would go out together to a coffee shop. Some of the brothers would drink coffee. You take a laptop and you get whatever you got to get. But that's what we did, So we had that type of thing. So we used to spend a lot of time hanging out because that was the only way that we could use the internet and also get some good coffee. All right, so second, I believe this one is self-explanatory. People like to hang out a lot and have fun. However, how many hours are wasted in this? You should keep your relations with people for benefit. Either they are teaching you something or you are teaching them something. If you are spending time with people just to have fun, you're wasting your time. So your relations have to be for benefit. But I mean, you first have to be a person that benefits. You have to be a person of benefit. If you're not that person, you can't, the people that are trying to benefit with their time, they're not going to be around them. They don't want to be around a person who doesn't. Third, people in the West spend so much time putting something into their mouths. Don't take on the behavior of these kuffar in the West. And this is the first thing that I used to hear when I went to Yemen, is that the Arabs, because in those days, this was like 2000. So a lot of the Arabs were going over to America in the West and visiting the West, like a lot of these shuyukh. They were going over there for the first time, because in the 90s, that's when they started having these conferences and started bringing the sheikhs over. I mean, they've been doing it since like the 80s, but it really, really caught steam, got going in the 90s, right? So, and then this is the one thing that these shuyukh, when they used to go over to America, they noticed, they said that the people walk around with a drink in one hand and a sandwich in the other. So the kuffar always got something in their hands and they're always putting something in their mouth. If they don't have a drink and a sandwich, they're smoking. You know what I'm saying? Or now they're vaping or whatever, but they're always trying to do what? They always got something in their hands that they're stuffing in their mouths. And this is what they noticed. And this is what they used to tell us back in those days, over 2 decades ago. Now it's worse. Now most people just sit at home and do it. All right, so he said, don't take on the behavior of these kuffar in the West. A Muslim should not eat more than twice a day. You should not be eating between those times because you should be busy. When you are busy, you do not feel the need to eat. However, the issue is not just about eating, because it is the coffee habit also. Muslims feel the need to go to Starbucks and get some high-calorie beverage with the goddess of the sea on the cup. The goddess of the sea. Muslims. And then they go with the Starbucks cup, and you got this picture of the goddess of the sea, and where do they bring it? Bring it to the masjid, and bring it into the masjid, and set it in the masjid while they pray. I have seen brothers, no joke, may Allah forgive us in them, may Allah guide us in them, that they were giving a muhadara with a Starbucks cup.
Oh, I think I know.
No, I mean, I've seen this on multiple occasions. These are from brothers from Ahl Sunnah. Maybe, the brother probably just told them, hey, can y'all pick me up a coffee? And they went and got it. And it looked like he tried to cover it up because, the thing, he was like, you could see that he was, but I mean, still, it's like, no, you bring that stuff in the masjid, but that's the way this is the society now. Said, however, all right, Muslims feel the need to go to Starbucks and get some high-calorie beverage with the goddess of the sea on the cup. And that's what we were talking about before, because everybody was talking about, we need to, what were they saying? We need to stop drinking coffee at Starbucks, and we're banning Starbucks. You're banning them for what? For the few dollars that they send to Israel, but you don't ban them because of the shirk? When there was an issue of Tawheed, you went to Starbucks. There was no problem. You go and you drink and drink and drink and drink, and you got the goddess of the sea cup, and you put this in your car and you got it in your house. You get the little Starbucks bag, right? You take a little carrot cake home with your little, macchiato or whatever garbage these people drink, right? And you got this big image of this goddess of the sea, and you just bring it into your house. But that was not an issue. Tawheed wasn't the issue. No, now it's because of what? Nah, we tell the people, if you're going to stop drinking anything or stop buying or dealing with anything, it's because of what? Yeah, because of that. It goes back to Tawheed. That's what it's about. We should have stopped drinking from those places a long time ago. Muslims already should have had coffee shops set up for Muslims where there's no free mixing, where there's no... why do we keep going to the kuffar for these types of things? When are we going to start our own businesses and our own brands and do our own thing? Why do you keep sitting here promoting stuff from the kuffar in the first place? So these types of places should have never been, a big thing. They should have never been a big thing amongst the Muslims, because the Muslims, we should have our own thing. Muslims should be concerned about Gucci shoes and garbage like this and polo glasses and all this type of foolishness that the people spend so much money on throughout the years. That, like, right now, you imagine, like 10 years ago, the amount of money that they spend on clothes today, they don't even care about those clothes anymore. But if you had spent that money on books and knowledge, you still be benefiting from what you spent that money on today. But you don't benefit. That's gone. It's over. It's not even a fashion or a trend anymore. So now, where are those Gucci shoes and the polo glasses and the polo boots and all the stuff that you spent so much money on 15, 20 years ago? They're in a thrift shop somewhere. You know, and your money's wasted. You know, so the same thing with the coffee and all these other trends. I mean, because the thing is like we as Muslims should have our own thing in the first place. We shouldn't be going around promoting these things that the kuffar are doing. You know, subhanAllah. Have our own. You can make your own brands. You can make your own coffee shops and push that. And the Muslims should support Muslim businesses. You know, but this is sad. It's a sad state that we're in. All right. So he said Muslims feel the need to go to Starbucks and get some high-calorie beverage with the goddess of the sea on the cup. Stop taking on the behavior of these cursed people. Allah said, وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِّنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُمْ وَكَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ مَا عَرَفُوا كَفَرُوا بِهِ فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ, and you know, once the book came, مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُم, you know, and it's telling the truth of everything that they had. Like the laws and legislation from Allah will sit down to them. وَكَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. And they begged and they pleaded with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them a fath, to give them victory over the people that disbelieved. You know, to give them victory over them. فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ مَا عَرَفُوا كَفَرُوا بِهِ. But then, when something came to them that didn't agree with their desires, that they, you know, something new, and they didn't want to accept it. They said, no, we're going to do this and this and this, we're not doing this. كَفَرُوا بِهِ. They disbelieved in it. And then what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. So the curse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon the disbelievers. And this is the shahid from this ayat, because I said stop taking on the behavior of these cursed people. The cursed people, where here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى مَنْ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. All of them. Not just the Jews, not just the Christians, all of them. فَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. So you stop taking on the behavior of cursed people. So here Allah said, Allah cursed them for their rejecting of the truth. Therefore, why would you want to take on their behavior in society when you know that Allah cursed them? So if you take on the behavior of cursed people, you end up what? You become a cursed person. So there you go. Does that make sense at all? Ibn al-Qayyim mentioned in his book Al-Fawaid, which is a very, very beautiful, beneficial book that I advise the people to get that book and read it like once a year at least. All right. So he had a statement by Sahal Tusturi. So the statement is سئل سهل تستري الرجل يأكل في اليوم أكلا. So he said that, you know, Sahal Tusturi, he was asked, a man, he eats one meal a day, only once a day. He said, قال أكل الصديقين. And this is the eating of the truthful, or the real truthful people, the people that are truthful in their actions, truthful in their speech, and truthful in their obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said this is their way of eating, that they only eat once a day. قِيلَ لَهُ, and it was said to him, فَأَكْلَتَيْن. And he said, what about the person who eats 2 times a day? قَالَ أَكْلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That this is the eating of the believers, and this is why I said that nobody should go over 2 meals a day. Because once you transgress beyond 2 meals a day, we're about to see what he was asked when he was asked about 3 times. He said, قِيلَ لَهُ, and it was said to him, فَثَلَاثُ أَكَلَاتٍ. He said, well, 3 meals a day. He said, فَقَالَ قُلْ لِأَهْلِهِ يَبْنُوا لَهُ مَعْلَفًا. He said, tell his family to build him a trough. You know, like the trough for the animals. You just pour the food in and the animals just come and eat all day long. He said, tell his family to build a trough for him. Because he's like a donkey. You know, like the donkey, how he eats. You just pour the food in the trough. And every time he gets hungry, he goes to the trough and eats all day long. You know, so this is what he said about the person who eats 3 meals a day. And of course, a lot of the Muslims, because why? Because of the gharb, because of being influenced by the West, are going to say, but you know, doctors and, you know, all these people and these nutritionists say that 3 meals a day is, yeah, exactly. You're taken from who? Kuffar. Is this proven? Is this proven that there's benefit in 3 meals a day? And then, you know, if you really look at like a lot of the alternative medicine people, all of them that did studies on this, that, you know, that had all these different, like Arnold Everett and all these different people, Jeffrey Claus, that, you know, that actually did practice with people that had cancer and had all of this came from what? Too much eating, and it was cured by what? Stop eating. And, you know, they used to put them on like water fast and juice fast where they would just like stop eating, you know. But I mean, all of them all agreed that once or twice a day, you know, even Arnold Everett in his time used to say that a person should not eat breakfast. He said that the breakfast was contrived by these kuffar, you know, well, he didn't say kuffar, but, you know, the West, to do what? To get people just consuming and consuming and consuming so they can sell more. He said a person should not eat before 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, because your body is, you know, you're just waking up. You don't want to just go weigh it down with digesting food right away. You want to use that time when you wake up to start getting things done. And you can't do that on a full stomach. You wake up and you're having like pancakes and bacon and sausage and eggs and whatnot. Or even if you're having a sandwich, you don't want your body busy with digestion as soon as you wake up. You wake up in the morning, you want to get busy with the Quran, busy with Salat. You want your mind free. And you do this, you know, what? We pray now. The Salat is around like 4:45, 4:50 now, when we actually pray, right? So now you got like what? So we're done. We sit there, have a class, and we're done with the class by like 5:05, 5:10 tops, right? So now you got like what? You go, and you sit down, you start reading Quran, you start reading Hadith, you start doing the things that you have to do. Okay, you do that for like about a good 4 hours, 5 hours, it's 10 o'clock. Now you've gotten all your stuff done. Now eat. Go enjoy your meal. Go, you know, sit down and eat. And then get back to work. You know, you might want to rest a little bit, and then, you know, because obviously 4 or 5 hours of studying and reading and things like that, or maybe you want to exercise also in that 4 or 5 hours. However, then you get some rest, and then after Dhuhr, you get back to work. You know, you just get back to work, and you eat around, again, like around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That's your second meal, that's your final meal, and khalas, be done with it. Sahla Tusturi mentioned that the family should build a trough for the man that eats 3 meals a day, because he eats like livestock. You pour food out for livestock, and they just eat throughout the day. Allahumma musta'an. We live in a society that encourages people to eat 3 meals a day. Fourth, well, we are, you know, in the bodybuilders, if the people get into that, then they're encouraged to eat 5 meals a day.
6.
5, okay, 6 now. Every 3 hours, basically.
Like 6 to 7. Because when I was researching, it was 6 to 7.
Nah. See, when you eat 1 meal a day and you work, your body starts to retain more of the nutrition in that food than if you're eating more meals a day. Because if you're eating more meals a day, what happens is the body's just saying, he's going to eat in 3 more hours, we need to get rid of this. So you're not really benefiting from the food that you're eating. The body's just pushing it out and pushing it out. But if your body knows that it's not going to get fed for another 24 hours, or in this case, if you're eating 2 meals a day, like you're going to eat 1 meal, like what, 10 o'clock in the morning. Your second meal is going to be like 6 hours, like 8 hours later, 6 o'clock. Let's say 6 o'clock, right? And then you're not going to have another meal again until 10 o'clock in the morning. So from 6 o'clock at night, or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, until 10 o'clock the next morning. How many hours is that?
6 o'clock in the morning to how much?
Until 10 o'clock the next morning.
That's a long time.
Huh?
That's a lot.
Well, I mean, you got 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That's 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's, you know, that's 6 hours. Then you got what? From 12 to 10, that's another 10. So 16 hours. You got 16 hours of not eating. So your body knows he's not going to eat again for 6 hours. So what is it going to do with the food, that last food that you ate? It's going to hold on, yeah, but it's going to retain it and hold on to it. It's not just going to push it off, because it knows that I got to get everything out of this. So to keep the body going. And you see that those people are actually healthier, stronger, and so a long time, and smarter. People that eat a lot, bodybuilders that eat 6 meals a day are not very smart people. Fourth, a lot of the free time of people that spent, this is the last thing that we'll read. Fourth, let me see, this is a long one. Well, let's do this. Fourth, a lot of the free time of people that spent going out. You see people going to the beach, go to markets, going to markets, it should be. Going to malls, going to flea markets, etc. I say flea markets because I'm from the South. So maybe swap meets here or whatever.
They got it here, flea markets too.
They got it, all right. How much time do you spend when you go out? Hours upon hours are wasted. You can invite friends over for a cup of coffee for about an hour or two and continue on with your day. You can meet friends at the masjid. There are more beneficial ways that you can spend time with friends. The entire time that you spend in a market, you are not going to be remembering Allah much. You are too distracted. Women are distracted looking at items that they have no intention of buying, and the men are looking at women that are not permissible for them to look at. Foolish behavior, that is. Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يُغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ ذَلِكَ أَزْكَىٰ لَهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ. See what they're honking at?
I think it's just fucking.
I know, but okay.
When we go, so.
Just to make sure, see what, maybe they're trying to get our attention or somebody's attention. He said, say to the believers, يُغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ, to lower their gaze.
Oh, what was that? I said, to open the gate.
Oh, okay. وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ, and protect their private parts. ذَلِكَ أَزْكَىٰ لَكُمْ, and this is pure for them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ خَبِيرٌ بِمَا يَصْنَعُونَ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is well informed, all informed and all knowing of what they do. Now, of course, the lowering of the gaze is not regulated just to women. I mean, it's not relegated to just men looking at women and women looking at men. It's anything that what?
Harms your heart.
Well, yeah, it causes you fitna, and so for example, women looking at clothes that they don't have the money to buy causes them fitna. And then they go home and cause, oh, I need this, I gotta get this dress, and we don't have this money. And then these things, you also lower your gaze with these things, because they cause you a fitna. You see these people like in these nice cars that you can't afford, not in a halal way. You can go and get a loan from a bank and get into all this interest and then fall into haram, but you can't afford it in a halal. Lower your gaze. Stop looking at the stuff. Stop causing fitna for yourself. Keep yourself busy with things that benefit you. So here it says, I can hear all the YouTube sheikhs right now saying that ayah is referring to looking at women only. So let's see what Imam Sa'di, rahimahullah, said about this ayah in his tafsir. He said, hey, أرشد المؤمنين, guide the believers, وقل لهم, and say to them, الذين معهم إيمان, for those that have iman, يمنعهم من وقوع ما يخل بالإيمان, and to what? To prohibit them from falling into anything that will cause weakness in their faith, or cause their faith to not to lose its complete form, like it starts to have like holes in it. Here I put the undermines faith as the translation. I should just read my translation because I translated this. I didn't get this from there. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ, it means that they avert their gaze. Avert their gaze is better to say than lowering. Because it's not about lowering. It's just about what? Like, a girl could be standing in front of you. You don't have to lower your gaze, but you can just what? Look away from her. Look away from her. So it's not just, to not look at that thing that's causing you to fitna. عن النظر إلى العورات وإلى النساء الأجنبيات وإلى المردان الذين يخافون بالنظر إليهم الفتنة وإلى زينة الدنيا التي تفتن وتوقع في المحظور. So here Imam Sa'di, he said, from looking at nudity or just the private parts or anything that's not permissible on the body to be looking at, whether it's a male or a female, whether it's a male looking at a female or a male looking at another male, whatever, it's not permissible in any regards. Or a female looking at another female. Or at non-mahram women or beardless youths, because, this is a fitna for like a lot of these societies where they're like, I've never seen this in my life except for mostly, and there's no disrespect to Yemen, but everybody knows. Because, you certain areas in Yemen, you just don't, they're not running around chatting with women. They don't hang out with women. They don't talk to women, except for the women in their family. So what do they end up doing is they start hanging around these boys that are still young and they still look girlish. And then they start going into all this gay stuff, this rainbow parade stuff. So, Allah musta'an. I mean, it's sick, but this is Imam Sa'di speaking about this now, because this is a problem in Saudi, it's a problem in Yemen, it's a problem in a lot of Muslim countries, where marriage is very difficult and the people aren't getting married early. So then they fall into this type of foolish behavior. But as Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah talks about it even in his time. So this has always been something that's gone, and this is the reason why that we need to start making the marriage more accessible for the people. So Allah Musta'an, because this is what happens with a lot of the youth. His intentions is not to be like a flaming homo, but what happens is, he doesn't get married and he's going crazy, and then next thing you know, Shaitan gets up in his head. And this has happened let's just say people have been kicked out of the match for like these types of things.
The Algerian Air Force person, right? He said he was beating up people who do that.
No, the special forces used to beat up the kids, the little gay kids, because you see, a lot of these groups, they used to send these gay kids to the match for this purpose, to mess up a lot of the students in the summertime. So they send these kids for that purpose. They send them, So a'udhu billah. So they used to beat the mess out of them, yeah. Good for them. They need that. They need that type of, maybe. Because the brothers in Aden used to say that. They used to say, man, we see a dude, he's walking down the street, he's all swinging his hand like this. He said, we take him into an alley and we beat him down. He said the next day he's walking like a man, Sometimes that's all it takes. Sometimes that's all it takes. Allah wants to. All right, but anyway, so he said, looking at them, all right, where there is the fear that looking at them may lead to temptation, and tell them to avert their gaze from looking at worldly adornments. So here's the shahid from this. It's not just for looking at what? For women. It's not just about looking, it's about anything that causes you fitna in this dunya. From looking at worldly adornments that may be tempting and cause them to fall into that which is prohibited. All right, because you become maftoon with these things that you cannot afford. And then you end up falling into haram to get these things. And again, so that you should have just lowered your gaze from the very start, and khalas, and done away with it, right? May Allah have mercy on Imam Sa'di for such a beautiful interpretation of the ayah. We should lower our gaze for anything that causes us fitna. If you go to malls looking at things you want, but do not have the money to buy, that can cause you a fitna. You should refrain from that behavior. It is a waste of time, and it is not good for your mental health. May Allah protect us. Moreover, in those places like markets and malls, there is a lot of free mixing between men and women. You will find almost all women do not dress modestly. Why would you want to put yourself in that environment? If you spend time at big restaurants, you will find people drinking alcohol in the restaurant. Is that where you want to take your family? These places should be avoided by anybody that has fear of Allah in his heart. So Allah musta'an. We'll stop there, inshallah.